Go.
So today I kind of want to go over how to measure toe on a race car. So if you're like me and you don't have a pit crew, you're kind of on your own, it's kind of hard and difficult. This is mostly a two-man job. I'm going to show you how to effectively do it by yourself, but this is how you go around with it even if you do have help or not. A lot of people don't know, so I just kind of want to help out with beginners. This is kind of going to get you a good start. What we're going to do first is we're going to measure our center link here. You have your pitman arm and your idler arm. That's your idler arm. This is your pitman arm. Your pitman arm is on your steering box. You have a nut on the bottom and a grease zert on the top. Well, on that side. What you're going to do is you're going to measure from the bottom of your nut on your pitman arm to the grease zert of the top on your idler arm. Then you're going to take another measurement from the bottom of your idler arm where the nut is to the grease zert on the bottom of your pitman arm. What you're trying to do, and we'll reference that here in just a minute, is you're going to try to get that number, the same number on both sides. So we'll go over that in just a minute. I got a race car up in the air. We can kind of go under there and I can kind of do a cross reference to kind of show you. What you're going to need is 2 tape measures, a Sharpie or a paint pen. So if you are starting out, a lot of you guys don't have, let me walk over here. If you guys don't have setup plates or toe plates, these are ones that I made. These are just kind of like a throw together really quick. You have little notches here, which is going to help measure. If you take the tires off of your car, you have one on one side, one on the other. These little notches will be able to hang tape measures all the way across so you can measure. So when you go to turn, everything's going to move so that way you can properly measure your toe. How we're going to do this is these down here. So this is where your tie rod is. First thing you're going to do after you get that centered is you're going to take your tie rod out, and you are going to, let's say this is our tie rod. You are going to pull these out and you want them equal value of threads. You don't want this screwed in all the way and this pulled out all the way. You want to try to pull these out and get these to even them out. Because this bar twists, the swedge tube. It twists where these threads are opposite of each other. So they're going to hold together and you can twist, and which is going to pull in or pull out. So you really need to get these to equal value. You can take a tape measure and measure from the head of your heim joint or where the threads go on your ball joint, your tie rod. These are shims. You've seen different size shims of these if you look on your race car. These will go under your spindle on top of your heim joint. What you're looking for on your center link, this is your center link, you want your tie rod to be straight across, level up and down. You don't want it sitting like this, you don't want it sitting like that. That's what these spacers are for. You're going to try to get it as level as possible. Okay? So, I'm going to go through and show you the grease zerts and how to measure that properly with the car that's in the air. And then we're going to go through and I'm going to show you how to measure your toe. Go. Alright, so we're underneath the car. It's kind of rusty under here. This is just a pure stock we've been trying to work on. So we're going to go from right here underneath your pitman arm first. You're going to measure, you're going to go about the halfway mark of your bolt. And then you're going to go to this grease zert. So we're about 23 1/8, okay? Now we're going to flip our tape measure and we're going to go from this grease zert. We're going to go right to the center of that grease zert, and we're going to go to this grease zert. And we are about 22 5/8. So that's what we're trying to find, is we want to get these to be equal value when we X this, okay? Done.
Yep.
Okay. These are 2 things that I do. You are most likely going to have to lift your car up in the air to get underneath it to measure that. First thing I do is you can get a pair of vice grips And right here at your steering knuckle, you can put a pair of vice grips right there, that way it don't move. Or some of us use quick steering quickeners. You can go straight to your steering quickener inside your car and put a vice grips there. What I'm gonna do, now that I have it square, I have the X square. Some people don't do this, I do it because, like I said, I mostly work alone. I will take like a little L square and I will put it right here on my center link, and I'll just put a mark on my center link and then on my frame there. That way, if I need to measure something and I need to make sure this is square, I just kind of line that up. Then, while I have that lined up, have that marked, I come right here, I don't know if you're able to see, I use my paint pen, and then right in there, I put a mark here and a mark right there. So that way I know my steering is centered. That's gonna be as close as I can go. Typically, I'll put a mark on my steering wheel too, that way I know when it's all centered, and I go to put my steering wheel on because I like my steering wheel a certain way, I put a mark on there and it will lock in straight. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so if you don't have toe plates, or there is another plate that kind of sits on your tire, and you can measure the same way with 2 tape measures, this is another way to go about it. If you have another hand and you're just starting out and you don't have toe plates, it's fine. I groove my tires where this factory seam is. This factory seam is kind of jagged like that on the edge. I typically groove my tires there, but if you don't, it's fine. When you measure your tires, you're going to measure the same spot in the front and the same spot in the back of the tire. So if someone's on this side and if someone's on this side, I will take my tape measure into that seam and then hook it right there and drag it across. That way it's in the same spot every time. When I flip it to the back and we measure the other side, same thing. I always go to the same seam. You're roughly going to be within 16th to an eighth of an inch every time. So we're going to pull our tape measure from this tire to that tire, and we're going to record that measurement. Then on the back side, this tire to that tire, and record that measurement. What we're looking for is we're trying to get these things to be 0, which equal value. A lot of people run toe out, some people run toe in. If it's towed in, your car can be loose and kind of steer loose. So a lot of people run them towed out. I know some people that run anywhere from 1/4 inch to 3/8 to a 1/2 inch towed out, which means your tire is sitting like this. Rather than towed in, you're going to be towed out. It's okay to start 0 to a 1/4 inch towed out as a typical good starting method to be at. So we're going to measure from this side of the tire to that tire over there, and you're going to record that. Now, when I told you to look at these tie rods, and I told you to have equal value with threads, when you put those on there, when you go to rotate this tie rod forward or backward, you're going to be moving your tires like this with your tie rods. It's going to be doing this number. Try to keep them equal as possible. So we want to find 0 when you go to move your tie rods, or 1/4 inch towed out. So that's kind of what we're looking for. So if it's 53 inches in the front, then we're going to be looking at 52 3/4 in the back. So we're going to try to find toe, or 53 in the front, 53 in the back, whatever. You're going to find those numbers. Okay.
Go.
So this is how we measure our toe. So he goes to a location that is going to be the same on the front and the back. And then I'm going to go to the same location on the front and the back. So I'm going to use this line, he's going to use the second bar in. So we're sitting at about 32 13/16. Or 11/16. No, 13/16. Okay. That is how you're going to measure. You're going to go from this side, you're going to go to the back side. You're going to do the same thing, okay? If you are by yourself and you don't have help, this isn't going to be the most advanced option, but you can do it. So what I do is I usually use a 2x4 or a straight edge or whatever, and you can go put that right against your tire and get it square. So on both sides I push, so that way it's the use a piece of chalk or soapstone, and then I'd make a mark on the front and the back. Then you can take your tape measure. If you go it on both tires, you can run your tape measure and stop on that line. I'm going to stop on this line. And then I can effectively measure my toe on my car. The only issue is when you go to adjust your tie rods in or out, that line's going to change. So every time you make an adjustment, you have to wipe that line off and remark it. But you can do it that way. I really hope that measuring this toe is good for beginners and you guys kind of understood it a little bit. If you guys would like more videos on how to do things, please like, subscribe, comment, and let me know. Thank you.